it off?
Yeah, what do I say? Namaste, yogis.
Yeah, just like that. Just say it just like that. Namaste, yogis.
Namaste, yogis. Welcome to How Yoga Changed My Life.
No, you just sound like an NPR, PBS, like, and we're back.
And we're back. Okay, here we go.
I'm leaving this in.
Okay. Namaste, yogis. Welcome to the latest episode of How Yoga Changed My Life. My life? Your life?
Everyone's life.
Everyone's life.
That's Natalie.
Oh, yeah. This is Natalie.
And I'm Adrienne. And welcome. We're excited. Today, we are going to explore when Pilates and yoga meet.
When they come together?
When they come together.
When they crash into each other?
Yep. A lot of the misconceptions behind it, both of them, kind of where are there, I'm going to give it away, air quotes, connection.
Aren't they the same thing?
Aren't they the same thing?
I thought they were the same thing.
You know, the idea that they're just for skinny white bitches,
Ah,
right?
Yes.
They cost a lot of money.
It's a girl thing. You better not go.
It's a girl thing. I'm not flexible enough. I don't have strong abs.
Yeah.
All of those ideas. And then kind of how they are really complementary.
They are. Absolutely.
And how, like, it's interesting to think about it because, you know, you started in Ashtanga, you started in yoga, I started in yoga, and then we both ended up in Pilates.
Yeah.
And just kind of that crossover and what Pilates has done for my yoga practice and vice versa.
Yeah. Each has changed the other, improved the other. They complement each other very nicely, very, very nicely as far as strength and mobility go. They're the perfect pair.
For sure.
But not the same thing.
Not the same thing at all. And it's interesting because it's like when you go to a gym or if you go to a fitness center, you know, it's usually yoga and Pilates are in the same area. And Pilates students get pissed that they're lumped in with yoga. And then yoga students get pissed that Pilates is lumped in with yoga.
Yeah.
It's just really like a contrast of, to me, the actual principles of yoga is when someone's like, well, I don't want Pilates. I'm a yogi.
I'm a yogi.
It's like, oh my God.
It's like a sorority you joined or something.
It's like movement in yoga is 1/8.
Yeah.
That's it.
Right. 1/8 of the
1/8 of what yoga actually is.
Yeah, the arms of yoga. Everywhere I've ever worked, yoga and Pilates have been like next door to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like one room is yoga, the other room is Pilates. They're always next door. And I've worked 2 places where they were under the same management, where, you know, this person's in charge of this part of the studio or the gym, and that person's in charge of this. And yoga and Pilates were managed by the same person because they're the same thing, right?
Yeah, right. It's the same thing as like when people, it indubitably or or whatever I'm trying to say. I don't even know what the fuck word I'm trying to look for, but like the idea that yoga students a lot of times think that yoga is so much different than movement in general, right?
Yeah.
That we put like this higher price tag on a yoga practice.
Yes, that is a thing. We've talked about that before. Am I allowed to use the phrase bendy assholes?
Yeah,
it's not my phrase.
Yeah.
I'm completely stealing it from someone. But yeah, that yoga will make you a better person. And there are lots of things that'll make you a better person, but I don't think it's the mat or the spandex.
Right. Definitely not. Definitely not the spandex. But it's just so interesting because like when you think about, you know, yoga, they think of as I'm just stretching. It's more passive. Or it's the complete opposite of that, where it's like hot and sweaty and fast and like
balancing on my head and balancing on one finger.
Exactly. And then,
yeah, that's true. It's funny that those 2 stereotypes coexist side by side.
Yeah.
Like it is an exercise. You're just, you know, being passive and getting a nice stretch, or, you know, it's superhero exercise.
Right.
And you're defying gravity.
Right. And it's like, where did those 2 extremes come from? And why can't we find the middle ground for yoga for all, right?
Yeah.
Like yoga for all. And then think about Pilates, right? So now you got Pilates, right? There's mat Pilates, which we'll get into. And then there's reformer and Cadillac and trapeze
and all the apparatus, apparati.
and the chairs and the barrels and the ladders. And I mean, it's like, it's nonstop.
Yeah, it is prop heavy, equipment
Prop
heavy.
Horse.
Yeah.
Like I love a prop, but my God, when I get into the studio and I'm doing a private and I have all these props, I'm like, and then this, and then this, and then let's try this. It's like,
and I'm unhooking the springs and moving.
yeah. And when people see it, it's like, what the fuck? These torture devices.
My favorite thing is to pull out, gosh, I'm not even sure what it's called. Is it the trapeze? The thing that's really is mostly for stretching?
Yeah. It's like basically like a little padded piece of wood that has two springs on it that attach to the top of a
and like an
Cadillac.
extra, and like an extra strap that hangs down. It has sex swing vibes.
It totally does. If you walk into a reformer class or you walk into a private and you watch somebody on a Cadillac, which is that basically, if you guys don't know, a Cadillac is like the reformer with the pads over top of it. And then it has like basically steel canopy around it with springs that can be attached and handles and foot straps and all kinds of
covers over the top and two sides down.
Yeah. There's even like fluffy handles.
And, sheepskin foot and arm loops.
It's crazy. Yeah. Fuzzy loops. It's crazy. If you walked in there,
insane.
It does.
And I have gotten these things out on occasion and we're not doing crazy stuff. Like literally, I just want to do a hamstring stretch.
Yeah.
And you know, it has the heavy springs to hang from the Cadillac, the overhead, the piece.
The canopy.
The canopy. And clients' eyes bug out. Like, what are we doing now? And I'm like, just a hamstring stretch. Except since we're working with gravity differently,
that's the thing.
You're going to feel it differently. And trust me, in about 30 seconds, you're really going to love this.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, you're going to worry.
Oh, yeah. Anytime I have an intro to Pilates with a new client.
No, you can't pull that stuff out for the intro.
God, no, with the intro to Pilates, it's like, first of all, you're laying on a reformer. You're laying on your back on a machine that looks like it could be a torture device.
100%.
You know, the springs and the metal and the wood 100%. And the black leather and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Pulleys, you know, it literally can look like something.
Pulleys. Yeah.
Yeah. It can look like something that's going to torture you. And when people come in and it's like, no, really, what's amazing about Pilates is this machinery, these props, these things that have been made for us give us the ability to tactilely feel, you know, move gravity into different spaces and places so that you can access muscle engagement.
Right, exactly. We're playing with gravity.
Yeah, we're playing with gravity, which is just kind of the genius of it. Mm-hmm.
But that kind of brings me to a question.
Yes.
Like, what is more intimidating to start? Like that, getting on that torture machine with all those pulleys and straps and springs and or just the naked mat on the floor and very little space between you and the instructor and everybody else.
For me, yoga was more intimidating than Pilates. You would think that it wouldn't be, but
even though that's where you started?
Even though that's where I started, I never felt intimidated with the torture devices of reformer Pilates. I never was, because I looked at it as like, oh, that's a machine that they're going to teach me how to use.
Okay.
The problem that I had with Pilates for a very long time, after I tried it and after I had a good experience with it, and then taking it from other people and learning like, wow, you really need a really good Pilates teacher.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Same with yoga, let's be honest.
Absolutely.
But for some reason, it feels that when it comes to a yoga teacher, they don't get as much credit as what they do on a yoga mat or what they do in a yoga studio as a Pilates instructor. Like Pilates instructors have to go through an exorbitant amount of training and studies, way more than a yoga student.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, and let's be honest, this podcast is called How Yoga Changed My Life. And I truly believe in my yoga practice. And that's one of my favorite modalities. That's my way of being,
Yeah.
right? Like I do
Yeah.
try my best to incorporate the 8 limbs of yoga in my daily life.
I agree.
And that's something that I don't feel that Pilates has been able to give me.
Yeah,
and
that's an excellent point.
you know, and then I think just going into a yoga studio and you don't have anything, you know, you may have a prop or something like a block or a strap, but it's like, it's you on a mat and there's strangers and people know what they're doing and you don't know what you're doing. And it feels intimidating, you know, at least when you're on the reformer, whether it's, I mean, I had it my first Pilates experience was a private reformer class and I loved it and I had a great time. Her name was Michelle and she's a dear friend of mine from Chicago and she's wonderful Pilates instructor. And so when she was going through her training, she took me through a lot of cool stuff. But then once I tried that and then I, you know, moved and, you know, tried different types of Pilates, I got into mat Pilates through a place I worked at, which that's very disappointing to me because it feels like mat Pilates gives Pilates a bad name. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think because there really is a general misconception that yoga and Pilates are more or less the same modality, the same form of exercise. And I assume that comes from mat Pilates is on a mat and yoga is on a mat. And so it must be the same. But it's kind of like saying, I mean, if you're wearing, you know, running shoes or tennis shoes, obviously you're doing only one kind of workout.
Yeah.
Because they're so different. But mat Pilates is maybe more accessible in the sense that, you know, you just
need a mat.
You don't have to buy the $5,000, $10,000 machine.
Yeah, but then you think about it, it's like, so then we introduce beginners to mat Pilates, which there's no equipment, there's no tactile feedback. And you can get a mat Pilates certification like that.
Can you?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know. I didn't start there.
I mean, I started there.
Yeah.
But I was under a different place up in Chicago. And it was like, okay,
we'll teach you how to do this.
We'll teach you how to be it.
Yeah.
But what I didn't do was test out of it because I was I don't.
I think a lot of people get into teaching that way. My initial cert was that way. It's like the studio taught me what they wanted me to teach. And then I liked it so much I got certified nationally.
Yeah. This one was like classical mat Pilates. But what I didn't like about the training was after we were learning everything, they were like, okay, in order for you to test out, you have to do all of these levels in your body.
Oh.
And I was like, but you didn't teach me how to do the most advanced level of this exercise because
I don't know that any one body can do.
No. And why the fuck would that be the most important thing for me to do is to show you how I can do whatever fucking hard
that's not
exercise.
A performance. Yeah.
No. It's like a corkscrew or a boomerang or whatever, jackknife. It's like, I can do some of those things, but I might not be able to do the most super advanced level. Does that mean that I shouldn't teach Pilates at all or mat Pilates at all?
Right. We've talked about that in yoga before. Like there are poses that I can no longer do. There are poses I never could do just because everybody is so different and my strength or my pain or whatever.
Right. Or your bone shape.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
like your
it's
anatomy.
So yeah.
And it's like we always
that does
find
seem really strange.
It does. And it's like this competitive nature too of like, oh, well, you can do this pose, but you could do that pose, or you could do this exercise. I could do that exercise. It's like,
that's not healthy.
It's not healthy. And that's not what either of these practices are about.
And honestly, mat Pilates is great. I mean, it's great. But only if you're doing it with proper alignment and if you're doing it correctly with proper technique. And if you're not strong, then it's really, really hard to do it correctly.
And that's why a lot of students come in and they're like, my back hurts. You know, my hips are sore, right? My hip flexors are tight, air quotes, right? Like all of these things. And it's like, why do we have to delineate motions and movements and modalities so much when we could just have like a place where we could go and move our bodies in any way we want to? You know, like I feel like a yoga practice brings in breath, it brings in mindfulness, right? Whereas Pilates has more of like that muscle brain connection, right? And the ability to kind of create new, pathways for learning and connecting with the muscle and brain activity. And I feel like that is together. Why would I not practice both?
Yeah.
Right. It's the same like if I want to be an Olympic weightlifter, I'm going to go out on the floor and lift heavy weights. Right. But I'm also going to do other things to support it because, you can't eat chocolate donuts all day, every day. You can't eat salads all day, every day. We need variety. We need balance. We need effort and ease.
Yeah.
And I think what's interesting too is that people think Pilates is, it's expensive.
It is.
Right. And it's like, it's expensive because of the training that
the
it
training's
takes.
Very expensive.
Right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing with like, you have to pay for a physical therapist. You have to pay for a doctor. You have to pay for health insurance. Like those are all ways to take care of the body. Where we are kind of left out is we should be covered under insurance, right?
Honestly, that wouldn't be a half bad idea.
Like yoga and Pilates in some way, shape or form is very rehabilitative, whether
Absolutely.
it be
But we're
breathing.
talking about in a private setting.
Yeah.
I mean, not like,
group classes.
Not like the sweaty group class you go to or the upbeat group class that you go to, but certainly in a private setting.
Well, let's dive into this a little bit more.
Okay.
So
Take me.
Group classes, right? So let's talk about this because we know that there's a lot of really great Pilates studios out there that have a bunch of Pilates reformers in their studio.
Oh, you mean like the new trend to make it more group fitnessy?
Yeah.
I'm turning that into an adjective.
Group fitnessy. I'm with you. I'm tracking with you. Yeah. But I don't really think that is where I would want to take Pilates.
Yeah.
Would you?
I think there's a place for it, but it's a completely different clientele. I've done both and not as big. As big of a room as many reformers. Some of the things I've seen online, I'm surprised by how many reformers. I've taught as many as 12, I think.
That's a lot.
Yeah. But typically it's more like 8.
Yeah.
Like 8 seems to be a really common number.
Yeah. What kind of think of it like a preschool? Right?
No, for sure.
Like a student to
it's a
teacher
lot of
ratio.
people to take. It's a lot of people to keep track of. A lot of machines, a lot of opportunity for people to hurt themselves for sure.
Yeah.
But like the faster classes, the group fitnessy classes, you need healthy people. You need healthy, fast people.
Yeah.
And for me, that means relatively young.
Yeah.
And you don't have room for beginners. You don't have room for injuries. You don't have room for
teaching moments.
No, absolutely not.
So who are those classes really for then?
They're for people who have already done privates and already done a slower technique class, and they've been doing this for years, and now they want to do it, at a clip. They want to pump up the music.
Yeah.
I just revealed how old I am with that phrase.
Pump up the jam.
But yeah, turn it up loud, turn it up fast. Let's go.
Right. Well, and it's the same in yoga too. It's hard and fast.
Yeah. That's an excellent point.
Hard and fast. It's almost like when we were kids, it was, if you fell outside, my mom would say, you're fine unless your eyes are bleeding, rub some dirt in it.
Rub some dirt in it. You're fine.
You're fine. But then, our generation grew up with that parental guidance. And then we started to say like, no pain, no gain, like kill yourself in the gym. Like I didn't do anything unless I was not able to walk the next day.
I think that still lingers.
Yeah.
There's just a personality type, I guess, who's like, oh, unless I feel like I'm going to die, then I haven't done this right.
Right.
I don't have that.
I don't
have that in my DNA.
I did for a while. For a while, especially when I was running. It was like, oh, I have to do this. Like I'm not doing it unless I'm dying. And it wasn't until I realized like, oh, yoga taught me that I have to have a balance of effort and ease. And,
I love that.
Practicing handstands for as long as I have, I know that if I were to just take a couple days off of my practice, the next time I get there, I'm going to be stronger. Yeah. And so I've tried to embrace that in my life, not just in the fact of like handstand practice, but in everything. Yeah. It's like we don't need to completely kill ourselves every single time we hit the mat or the reformer or the tower, whatever it is. We need a balance. And I think what's neat about both Pilates and yoga is that they do offer that balance. It's just the fact that we only see the extremes on the outside, right?
Yeah, especially on social media, we
Oh my
really
God.
see the extremes.
We have a boss. Her name is Amelie. Shout out to Amelie. And she's
amazing.
She's amazing. And she's told
So
us
well trained,
a bunch of
so
times.
good at her job.
Like when
I'm a fan.
I'm a huge fan.
I'm going to stop now.
I know, I'm like, stop fangirling over her.
Such a fan.
No, she's the best. And she makes it a great space for us to work. But she
Yes.
has given us many times where she's like
Yes.
gone through the manuals with us and said, if you do this in class or with a private, you will be fired.
You'll be fired.
So I have lots of things
Yeah.
in there that's like, don't do those with people. And to me, that is really smart in the sense of group fitness.
Absolutely.
You know, when we live in a group fitness environment, it's not about the most advanced person. It's not about the most beginner person in the class. It's about the middle of the room. And I think that if we can teach people anything is it's like, if you're a beginner, go to a class, any class you want to, group fitness, yoga, Pilates, anything that's fused. I don't care. Just go and try it. Be open-minded and don't be judgmental about yourself because you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And, I mean, how many times have I said to my clients, I'm like, look, I still go to my trainer friends when I need help in exercises.
Every week. Yeah.
And because I can't see it in my own body, that doesn't mean that I'm wrong, right? And as a teacher, you can't see it in your own body. That's why you hire me to help you figure it out, right? I'm an outside perspective with no biases, you know? It's like doing that death doula certification. It's like, I am a non-medical compassionate caregiver in a yoga space or in a Pilates space or in a group fitness place, you know, wherever I am.
Yeah.
But it's just the modality and the movement is, I think, beneficial for people to know that you don't have to be rich. You don't have to be white. You don't have to be skinny.
Yeah.
You don't have to be stretchy or mobile. You don't have to have a strong core. You just have to have an open heart and an open
Be
mind.
willing to start at the beginning.
Yes.
Be willing to start at the beginning.
Yeah.
And to circle back to mat Pilates, it is fantastic in a private session.
Yes, 100%.
With a weak client, someone who's just getting started. So, you know, I made the comment about, you know, if you're not using proper alignment, then you're going to struggle and it's not right for you. But also it's the first place I go if I have a client that's coming back from surgery or from injury or from neglect. They just haven't taken care of their body in a couple of decades, because it is fabulous for that. But those are not the exercises that we're doing in a group class with the music going, with 35 people in the room. That's not where they're starting.
No, they're not.
But it is a great place to start if for whatever reason you are starting at the beginning.
And just go suss out the teachers, suss out the studios, check the vibe, make sure that it's the kind of place that you would feel comfortable with the same kind of outlook in that practice, right? I mean, I just find it really interesting that there is so much overlap too between Pilates and yoga. And I kind of said it in the beginning of the interview, not interview, what is this?
I think this
Conversation.
is a podcast.
This is a podcast. Shit, that's right. Yes, this is a podcast. It is a podcast.
I mean, when the last time I checked.
Yeah, but like the connection, right? I said connection. And really for me, the underlying cool part about a yoga practice and a Pilates practice is that they're both about connection, right? They're both about connection in different ways, but very similar ways. Mindful movement, breath-guided movement, present moment awareness, you know, calling
being present
action.
in your own body.
Yeah,
with
listening.
your own movement. Yeah, learning to listen to your body.
And listen to the fucking teacher too.
Yes, please.
Oh my God.
For the love of God.
I told you earlier this week.
Seriously.
Earlier this week, I told you my algorithm is now of students not listening to teachers. And it's so funny to me because I can see it in someone's face when they're laying on the reformer and
they're gone.
And they're not listening.
And they're just gone.
And I go, put your feet on the foot bar. Put your heels on the foot bar. And it's like they put their feet on the platform or they put their toes.
You can just see in their eyes, they're like going through their grocery list or they're thinking about work, but they're anywhere but in the moment.
Right.
And I'm like, hi, hello, join me.
Hello. Earth, come in.
Join me.
Come back to Earth. Well, and even or they get up in their head about it, right? They think you're going someplace.
Oh, sure.
Right. And then they're
trying to anticipate.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's more like,
I've done that.
Oh, I do it a lot too, where I'm like, oh, oh, never mind. You know, oh, I thought she was going to go here when she actually went there. But but again, that's like, I'm not being present. I'm thinking ahead, right? So it's really, if anything,
it's a good thing. It'll pull me back into the present moment.
It will.
Like
it will.
I assume whether we're talking about yoga or Pilates, I'm assuming we're going from my A to my B. Like I always do this exercise paired with that exercise. Well, it's a different person.
Yeah.
And they're going to a different place. And it wakes me up. It's like, hello.
I like that piece of it though. I like that because it makes you as a teacher get out of a rut. Yeah. Right? Like sometimes, I hate when I get in a rut with things.
Well, you know me, I love to take classes from you guys.
Oh yeah.
It's just my favorite thing. And every time I take classes, whether we're talking about yoga or Pilates, I'm always learning. And it's like, oh, I really like the way they worded that, or I really like the way they offered that variation, or I've used, well, like with you, I've used the ball before, because you love the ball. It's like your favorite prop. It's like, I've used the ball this way, but I've never used it the way Adrienne did it.
Yeah. That's the best thing though, is as teachers, we are a community and we are connected. Yeah. And when a community of teachers stay together and work together, they just make their students stronger.
They do. And that's one of the wonderful things about our particular team is we really do work together and learn from each other all week.
And it's all women, which is crazy. All women that all have crazy different personalities.
Yes.
But have accepted each other for who we are. Yeah. And it's not a competition.
No, like
I love so beautiful to me.
Every last personality trait in that group.
Me too. Me too. Yeah. And I appreciate the differences and how I can learn from others. But where I get a little bit of a thorn in my side is when I look at past experiences in yoga studios where it hasn't felt that way, where it's felt more about like, well, this girl's class is the most popular class, right? Or the most popular teacher.
And yoga format. Isn't, they don't own that problem. I think that's
true. That's true.
I think that's true of any studio or gym atmosphere. There is a performative aspect to what we do. Performative and popularity. And so, we need clients to do our job well and to get paid. And you can work together as a community and the entire team grows. Yeah. Or you can go at it as an individual and I don't know how else to word this, steal clients. Yeah. I hate to say it that way, but there are two ways to do it. You can build the team. Right. And so the team grows as a team, or it's each man for itself.
Well, and think about it. When you've been in a situation where it's like we grow together as a team, what happens to the students? The students get stronger. The community grows because you're not focused on the negative pieces of it. You're not thinking about your ego. You're not thinking about numbers. You're not thinking about times or formats or, I gotta make sure that this gal comes to my class tomorrow and not go to so-and-so's class. It's like, the more you think like
out there. It's absolutely
it's so
out there. Yeah.
Out there. And that is, karma is a bitch and it will come back and bite you in the ass as a teacher. I'll tell you, if you're in a studio or an environment like that, either get the fuck out of there.
Just get out.
Yeah, probably get out.
Just get out.
Because it's just not healthy for anybody.
It's not.
Even just watching studios and people, when it's like, oh, well, my numbers are so great. It's like, what the fuck does that mean? Yeah. Like you could be teaching a 9:00 class on a Monday and it is like the prime time.
Yeah. There are a lot of variables to why a class is popular and the instructor is only one of those.
It's only one element.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like if you go into every class worried about your numbers, or you go into your class worried about like, am I going to do okay? Are students going to show up? Are they going to come back? Are they going to complain? Are they going to be happy? It's like, if you think that way, you're not present. You're not practicing.
True. Yeah.
You have to not be concerned with the numbers and show up as your teacher, the way that you teach.
And not every work environment is hostile, if I can. Hostile's not too strong of a word.
True.
And so if you can afford to get out, because I think you and I both have worked in both environments.
Oh yeah.
and I guess my point is that good environments exist,
Yes.
like community-based,
Yes.
helpful work environments exist. And so you don't have to,
I had some great
you don't have
ones.
to be fighting for clients.
Right.
You can be growing together.
Well, and at the end of the day, if you are at a studio, like I had great studio experiences in Chicago. Got to be honest with you. I think there was like maybe one time that I was like, I don't think I want to teach here anymore. But for the most part, every place I went to, I really enjoyed it because I could be myself, right? And that's one of the
it was
beauty.
a smaller setting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because really with Chicago, there's so many more studios to teach at than there is in San Antonio
But I
right
mean,
now.
do you think the size of the staff made a difference, or or you were just lucky?
I don't know. I think I was lucky in where I started in Chicago and then branching out to a couple different places and different modalities. I was really lucky.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. But like, then I think about down here and I'm thinking like, what I see nowadays in San Antonio area, and this is just my opinion, is I see a lot of teachers that are graduating and are going, okay, I want to start teaching. And then they show up to start teaching a class. And if their numbers aren't great to begin with, or if they're, not preparing, right? Taking the time to prepare, or if they're not 100% behind what they're doing, then they just kind of filter and fade away. It's like they're not taking the time to, if you want to teach at a studio, start practicing at that studio.
Yeah.
Start understanding how they teach.
That's
right?
good advice. If you want to start, whether you're starting to teach or continuing to teach, be a student.
Yes.
Like, be a student
Always.
all week long.
Yeah. Always be a student.
Like, don't drop in twice a year.
Right.
Like, you need to being a student is the fastest path to being a better teacher.
Absolutely. And like, then you're going to the community that you want to teach with.
Yeah.
Right.
And every community has their own personality.
All different formats, all different modality movements. Like some people say things one way and cue another way. And it's like, go and experience them before you apply, right? Go and understand what they're like. And then when you decide this is the place that I want to teach at, that's just the beginning, because now you have to invest time, effort, and energy into getting into classes, being seen, getting to know different teachers, introduced to other students, have other teachers introduce you at the end of class. And when you teach, being open and being available and being seen. Like, for me, that's what it was. It's the same in a lot of industries. Like when I sold beer, it was the same thing. Like, you have to show up. If you're not there and the distributor doesn't see you there, your brands aren't going to be sold.
No, you need to be seen.
You need to be seen, and you need to be you. It's not about trying to fit and conform to someone else's viewpoint of what they think it is.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like the more teachers get out of their comfort zones and try different types of trainings, right?
Yes.
Whether you're a yoga teacher or Pilates teacher, whether you're Ashtanga or Bikram, whether you're, peak or balanced body, I don't give a shit. Try something different. Because the more you just learn from one way and stick under one roof, you are limiting yourself like nobody's business.
And that's true of teachers, but that's also true of students. So if you've been to a yoga class and you're like, this doesn't suit me. There are 1,000 different types of yoga, and Pilates is becoming that same way as well. I think obviously yoga is much older. Pilates was started by Joseph Pilates. It's a modern form of exercise, so it hasn't had the centuries to expand. Yeah. However, it has had decades. Yeah. And one instructor is not going to teach the same way as another. And one studio is not going to focus on the same thing as another. So if you've tried it and you were kind of curious, but you didn't like this or whatever, try something else.
Same thing with going to a restaurant, right? You didn't like the hamburger, try the chicken, right? What else do we have? I think that was about it. I mean, really, at the end of the day, you got to be willing to not get wrapped up in what you think an exercise format is. It's more about try it in your body and see how it feels.
Yeah. I mean, if we break down the fundamental similarities, they are both mindful movement.
Yeah.
They are both centered around breath
Mm-hmm.
and connecting the breath and connecting the mind to movement.
Personal alignment.
Yes, they are all about align. They're both about alignment.
Relaxation.
Yeah, there's an element of that in both. What's different?
Really the differences for me seem to be in like the more of the mindfulness element of yoga and more of the fact of the big why yoga, right?
Yes.
Not just the asana practice, but all the other limbs. So it
Right.
gives you a greater foundation of like,
I completely
hey,
agree.
we're all in this together. We
Yeah.
all are connected,
Yeah.
right?
Yoga gave me a approach to life
Exactly.
because there are 8 limbs.
Yep.
So yoga and yoga training, teacher training, influenced how I felt about every corner of my life.
Absolutely.
And
no matter what your religious beliefs are.
Yeah, absolutely.
It has nothing to do with religion. I want to make that really clear. The yoga that I practice, the yoga that Natalie practices, it is movement. It is mindfulness. It's breath. It's all of those things.
Be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
Be kind to your body.
Yeah.
Make space for the person next to you. And yoga, I think, the name of the podcast is How Yoga Changed My Life. And for me, that's the difference between the same two. Yoga changed my life.
Yeah. That's
like
so
yoga
true.
changed my life.
Yeah.
And because yoga changed my life, I found Pilates.
I love that. Yeah.
And I love Pilates and I'm obsessed with Pilates and I've, devoted my life to teaching it.
Yeah.
I've spent more money, more hours.
Yeah, for sure.
To teach it. But yoga changed my life. And and that was the first step to having Pilates in my life.
Yeah.
And
I think that's a really great way to put it too, is it's like yoga opened your eyes to the fact that like, I don't have to move like Joe Schmo or, I don't have to be an Olympic weightlifter or a marathon runner.
It changed the way I viewed a lot of things. One of which is I am stronger than I thought.
Absolutely.
And I can do things I didn't know I could do. And if there are things that I don't want to do, that's okay too. Things I'm not strong enough to do, that's okay. Like both, I am stronger physically, but I'm also stronger mentally because I can say no.
Yeah.
Like I don't do headstands.
No, what I love is seeing the clients that I have that practice both Pilates and yoga.
Mm-hmm.
Like those are the students that like I'm seeing huge shifts in.
Oh, they pair together so well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's like they start to notice like, oh my gosh, I can do this arm balance or this inversion that I never was able to do because I understand where to lift from, right?
Absolutely.
Like Pilates talks about core and yoga talks about bandhas.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like we're both talking about the two different things, a powerhouse, a core center, your trunk, your all of that power.
But Pilates is what made me strong enough to do the balances in yoga. Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely. And learning to breathe in yoga made it very easy to do mindful movement in Pilates.
Oh, for sure. And being able to actually use your breath in an exhalation to exert energy and force and movement.
Learn that in yoga.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think like the other thing is there's breath, there's flow, and there's rhythm in both. Right.
That's one of the principles of Pilates, rhythm and flow.
Rhythm and flow.
That would be my particular favorite.
You would be so proud of me. I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago during one of my Pilates reformer classes. I was like, all right, I'm going to do footwork in the beginning of class to the beat of the music.
Yeah, I love that.
It was so much fun. And I noticed like, I like this a lot. And I think it kind of ties back to the fact that I like yoga with light weights and that kind of following the beat of the music and having that connection to a rhythm that you can match your breath to. Like I've been having a lot of fun with it. But at the end of the day, we'll try to wrap this up with a pretty little bow on it, is get your ass to a mat, get your ass on a reformer, get your ass to a class.
And we always recommend, if you're unsure, start with a private.
Yeah, exactly.
Start with a private. And either one of them. You have that one-on-one attention, those educated eyes, and then jump into class if it makes you feel. It will make you feel more confident.
It will, for sure. I totally agree. Taking private sessions with with a professionally trained trainer in yoga or Pilates will change the way you see yourself. It'll change the way you're connecting with your muscles. It'll get you out of old habits quick.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take a long time. You know, it just depends on your willingness to listen not only to the trainer, but also to yourself.
Yeah.
And speak about it. You know, I always tell my clients, I'm like, I don't have x-ray vision. I can see things happening in your body, but I don't know
tell me,
what you feel. So I ask it all the time. Where are you feeling this? You know, where do you feel this? They're probably just like, shut the fuck up, right? I don't know anymore. Leave me alone. But anyway, I think it's neat. I think it's neat that we both have had experiences starting with yoga, then meeting Pilates and seeing how they've really complemented
They're not the
our
same
journey.
thing, but
not
they
the same.
do complement each other.
Exactly. Well, if you guys have any questions for us on how yoga or Pilates can change your life, let us know. You can send us an email at yogachanged@gmail.com. Follow us on the gram at yogachanged. Use our hashtag HYCML. Follow us. Send us a review. Send this episode to someone who you want to see get into yoga and or Pilates or both. You know, take this as a little bit of a kick in the ass to get yourself moving and try, because you will be surprised.
Try something new.
Yeah.
Branch out a little bit.
Exactly. Get out of your comfort zones, people. That's what we love. But thanks again for listening, and we will see you next week.
Thank you. See you next week.
Bye.